hello. Let's get things sorted. Some quick fixing here just to get all set up. But good morning, good midday, good something something. It is just past midday, 12:05 p.m. and I think everything is good to go. You get a little bit of a different view today. You get to see more of, well, outside the regular view, because, well, I need to just adjust my seating position a little bit. This feels a little bit more comfortable today. Working on this new project. I just started this morning, but I figured now I have a good start. So yeah, just working on this together is now more doable. It's always a little bit trickier in the beginning of things, so now everything is kind of set up. Just gonna make sure I have everything I need, which is the pattern in front of me and what row I was on, and that's the row. Okay, good to have that one easily available so that I can see it most of the time. I should have that over there. Okay, good. And you get a little bit of a different view. Yeah. Looks correct. So I hope everyone's doing good. And if you're new here, I am Amanda, the Scraptastic Crocheter. And I just kind of decided this morning, well, maybe not this morning. Hello, Suzanne. Good to see you. Hope you're doing good. I decided this morning to do this pattern in particular. I had an idea forming in my head yesterday, but then I never started it because I guess I had to sleep on it and try and figure out what to do. I've had this yarn for a while, at least some of it. The yarn I am currently working with, this brown yarn, I did get parts of that in my advent calendar from Rita, and then she had some extras that she just cleaned out from her place. So I just, well, I have 5 in total of this, but I don't think I'm gonna use all 5. But what I had from like forever ago is these Megaballs. I have 4 Megaballs in this gold color. So with the brown and a gold, I'm gonna make a big sunflower blanket. I know I was working on the other sunflower, the one I've been testing, but that one is like a thin, kind of rough cotton, and it doesn't really feel like a blanket. So I need to make a blanket. And I was looking for patterns for quite some time yesterday. I did find a few patterns that was options, I guess. But now I settled on this one, Flower Puddles blanket. It's not supposed to be a sunflower or anything. It's just me picking the colors of a sunflower to make it look like a sunflower. I did link the pattern down below, so that's available. Or that option, you know, if you want to go and look at the pattern, it is linked. But yeah. A new sunflower is forming. And in a few hours I will get company. So I'm just gonna hang out here until I know when my company arrives. I'm gonna do this. Just let's click some buttons here. because I can. And do what I don't do enough, share myself out to myself. Because that is a common thing. I don't remember, and now I remembered, so let's let people know I'm here for funsies. Because I know people do miss out. And I don't like that. So, just to make sure people can find me when I'm randomly here. Very typical of me to randomly be here. Today I will get the awesome company of my brother. It doesn't happen very often, but he's coming to visit today. I have no idea what we're going to do, but the weather's fine. And like, well, I should start just saying like always, because it kind of is a regular thing now. I do have 2 live streams going at the same time, both on YouTube. One in vertical mode and one in horizontal mode, in case you want to see a different view. On the vertical, it's only my hands, up close and personal, and on the horizontal, it is a big wide view of everything that's going on my desk, but also including my face, if you are curious to what I look like. You can always pop over there and say hi. So I started this. No, wait. Now I am putting stitches in the wrong place. That's correct, that's correct, that's correct. That's where I messed up. No? The stitches are supposed to be in between, not in stitches. Yeah, so I started this a while back, but it is pretty easily written, so it's not too tricky to keep the pattern going, as well as just hanging out at the same time. Some patterns are a lot more difficult, that you have to focus on what you're doing, and so far so good. So I think I'm gonna be able to both crochet and chat without too much of a difficulty. That's my guess, at least. So that's what we're trying to do. I see hearts. I appreciate that. Thank you. There's a few people here already. Hello, Sam. Welcome in. How are you doing? Hope you're having a good day. I have coffee and I'm crocheting. And now I'm just quickly gonna read what I'm gonna do this row. I don't think it's gonna be that difficult, but I'm supposed to skip how many stitches? Okay. Let's see if this makes sense. In that case, I have it figured out. This is working up really, really fast just because I'm using a thick yarn. I normally don't use yarn that is this thick, but I had it, so it kind of feels like I need to use it for some reason, or, you know, for something. Can't just have it laying around. It makes no sense. And let's see, does this make sense? Skip 2 stitches, 2, 2, 2, 2. I did that, I did that, I did that. Skip 1. Okay, yep. No, this makes total sense. This is exactly what I'm supposed to do. Now I can carry on. The gold yarn I'm going to be using is yarn I actually got as a mistake. I ordered yarn from Hobie to make a blanket, and that yarn, well, it is now a blanket, but I ordered 2 skeins of gold, 2 skeins of gray, and I'm not sure I got the 2 of eggplant at that time. Good morning, David. How are you doing today? Good to see you. But there is 2 different sizes of these Megaballs, these ginormous balls of yarn. And this one has the little label here. It says Aran, and Aran is the thicker of the 2. So this is kind of a worsted weight yarn, and the other one is more of a DK weight. And I needed the DK weight. You just got in from shopping. What did you get? You'd like to shop, don't you? But I got the wrong ones because I wanted the DK one, and I got the Aran. So I emailed customer service and I said, hey, I got the wrong one. I need the DK one. That's what I ordered, and I got the Aran one. And then they're like, yeah, we're gonna sort it out. We're gonna send you the yarn that you need. And it took a few days, and I got another package to go and pick up. Hello, Marion Hogel. Welcome in. And again, I got the wrong yarn. I got Aran again. So I guess maybe my email wasn't clear, or somewhere it was a miscommunication. And then they're like, yeah, that's fine. We're going to send you again the yarn that you ordered. So I have 4 of this by accident. And then they were like, just keep the yarn. We're going to send you the new, the DK. So I finally got it. And these are really, really big. I have 400 grams. That's 14.1 ounce, 700 meters, or 765 yards times 4. That I don't really know what I was going to do with. They've been hanging around for quite some time now. And now I finally decided that with this brown, let's make a big, big, big sunflower themed blanket. So that's what I'm doing. And hopefully it's going to look good when it's finished. So far we have this center. There's some type of repeat on this pattern, and I can only repeat for so many rows. So I guess we're gonna continue as far as I can go, or until it looks good enough. This looks kind of big so far, and I feel like I haven't really made a big dent. I guess, yeah, not even half, I think, of that. But hopefully it's gonna be a good size. And I do feel like there's gonna be yarn left over when I'm finished, which I guess I'm okay with that. I would just like to use the yarn so that it's used up, but I don't think this project is gonna be big enough to use. I have 5 of these smaller everyday acrylic, and they are 100 grams, 3.5 ounces, 200 meters, 218 yards. So that's like 1,000 meters, 1,000 plus yards, as well as all of that yellow. There's gonna be yarn left over. But hopefully this is gonna be ginormous. So I have that to look forward to, hiding myself under a big sunflower. That is going to be way softer than the cotton sunflower that I'm testing. And that one's also a bit lacy. This one is, there's some small holes in it, but it's definitely not the same. This is going to be more of a cozy, thick blanket. The yarn also calls for a larger hook. I want to say both of them calls for, well, 5.5 to 6 millimeter, and this one wants 6 millimeter, and I opted for 5.5. So it's maybe not the drapiest of blankets that I've ever made, but it still looks, you know, it's not a stiff blanket so far. And I think also being used, it's gonna be nice and flowy. I'm just happy that I finally found some purpose for the yellow yarn. And later today, it is 12:21 p.m. now, and well, my time, and at 10:30, I think it is p.m. my time, I'll be on panel over at Greenland Quilter Katie's, so I'll be hanging out there later as well. I still haven't posted on my community tab the link to that, but I will do that because I am just forgetful. Very much so, very forgetful. I'm also trying to figure out, since this is a repeater pattern, I need to figure out what row it feels like it would make most sense to switch from this brown over to the yellow or the gold later. So that's also, well, I want the center to be kind of rounded, and as you can see, there's these kind of, it looks petal-y, it makes these peaks, and there's going to be more of that all the way through the pattern. That's kind of what I choose this for, because it kind of looks like, well, you know, the petals of a flower, but I want the center to be kind of round, since a sunflower is more round and then goes into petals, even though the pattern itself is full of petals. So I need to figure out what row it makes sense to switch. Since, well, what I'm doing now is a part of the repetition. But I'm doing at least one repetition with the brown to make a big center. Hello, Lulu. Good morning. How are you doing today? Okay, so now I might have a time, possibly. So, almost 2 hours, possibly, by the look of it. Until I have company, which is nice. Yeah, I just started it this morning. It's gonna become a sunflower. I don't know if you heard or if you just popped in. We're going for this brown and then going over to the gold to make a big sunflower. "5:24 a.m. That's early. You gonna be up now or are you going back to bed? I'm happy to keep you company. Okay, yeah, you go do your morning stuff. Sounds like a great plan. And perhaps you pop in later. Even though I'm probably, well, about 2 hours-ish, most likely. For this go round, I should be able to get some done on this, seeing how fast it's working so far. I should have a couple of rounds done in 2 hours. Not sure we're gonna get to changing colors in that time. But hopefully I'll be getting another brown skein out. Because the yarn I have right now is not gonna last me 2 hours. Thank you, Lulu. So what do you guys think about this angle? Like, I'm just trying to be nice to my body by just switching how I'm sitting, but also the camera angle had to be adjusted for that. Is it weird? Because normally I try to just keep my bench or my desk as the background, and now you get, well, on the horizontal you get like partially floor and plenty of other things that may not be very interesting, but then again, the desk normally isn't interesting either. Or just, does it look weird? I don't know. I just thought that it's easier to see what I'm doing when it's all black in the background. Then again, where my hands are, you get that black, so you get the contrast. I think it's also me not really being used to seeing that. It feels like a lot of the crochet, like when you get to see hands crocheting, it's mostly on a solid surface. Because it's definitely easier to do, you know, these smaller animals and stuff sitting. Well, more forward to do all of that stuff. This is going to be a big blanket, so I'm going to be covering myself with it at some point. But I just needed a little bit of a break, I guess. It looks like I did what I'm supposed to do. The post stitches are where they're supposed to be. You tried the pencil holding method and you couldn't. Depending on how you hold the yarn on the other hand, maybe. I honestly don't know. I haven't thought about that. Well, the goal is for you guys to see what I'm doing and try to be comfortable at the same time. It's just different for me. So I think I did right. I'm not sure because it does say in the pattern there will be some curling on the edges. There's no curling on the edges, really. I'm flattening it out. There's no curling. Well, hello, Spoon. How are you doing? I look summery? Well, maybe. Maybe it's a little bit summery. And that was the round I just did, right? Front post, skipping stitches. All right, that's what we're doing. So we have those stitches, that makes sense. Okay, now I know what to do. You're a hello and go. You've been busy with posts? I'm busy with front and back posts. Different type of post. Oh, the book. You are in book mode. Yeah, the texture is awesome on this one. I haven't even looked at the back, but the back also is really pretty. You see these shells. And it's kind of petals overlapping each other. Because this petal is kind of, well, it's gonna curve up to become a petal like this. And now I'm starting the next one. Just like we have this one. Yeah, they're starting in between each other. It is a nice look. Not sure that it's the best pattern I could have found to make a sunflower, but it's definitely, it looks fun to do. So that's what I went for. And now I am skipping stitch and back posts. Anyone has any fun plans for today? Probably still early to ask about that. My initial thought was to, well, hang out with my brother and then possibly stream a little bit before I go on panel tonight. But since, well, I don't have anything else to do now, I might as well just stream while I was waiting for my brother. Because why not, right? I can't remember last time I worked with thick yarn on something like this. I want to say it's probably when I double stranded the cakes. I got the yarn for my birthday and I double stranded to make an asteria that is now on my living room table. But that was 2 strands of super fine yarn, so it wasn't as thick. But I want to say that's the last time I used thicker yarn to make something intricate and detailed like this into something larger. The thick yarns I've used more recently, or where I often use thicker yarns, is for like the animals. I started yesterday while streaming. I picked up this old whip of a bunny. We need to finish that at another time, but I just felt like making this blanket today. I could have just finished this together with you guys today, but bunny gets to wait. But that's normally where I use thicker yarns, right? This is more of a me thing. With thin yarns, these lacy type of doilies and, ponchos, dresses, something. But I like the thinner yarns. But this combination of a fun pattern, blanket-esque type of thing, it's been a while. You're gonna go for a pint. That sounds like a great plan. And it's definitely not too early. Yeah, you get some rest, Lulu. Thanks for stopping by. A pint on a Tuesday. Any day works, right? There's no wrong day for that. With good company, even better. So I do not blame you for leaving me behind. Would probably be awesome to join in, but yeah, no. That is looking good. I'm actually gonna try something. Let's see. If I do this, I copy that, and then I go there to paste this, like so, and then hopefully you can move away. So I can pin that message. And then on this side, I do that, and then I jump over here, and I pin that message. Can I do that? Move. Move, move, move. So what I think I managed to do now is that I pinned the horizontal live stream on the vertical side, and on the vertical side, yeah, like I think I managed to do that. That I cross-posted, so that if you're on the vertical, you can go for the pinned comment to get to the horizontal, and if you're on the horizontal, you can use the other one to go back and forth, in case you feel like doing so. Maybe to give me a thumbs up on both sides, or if you're on the vertical and you want to see my face, which is on the horizontal side, or if you are on the horizontal side, you might want to get more of an up-close view of what I'm doing, and then you can switch in between easier. Why I didn't think about that previous live streams, I have no idea, but I think I should have. And now when I've thought about it, I just have to try and remember that going forward, I guess. Both are working, or that you are on both? What are you gonna do today, Suzanne? Do you have any fun plans? Primary election day, so you're gonna go vote? I had no idea. I had no idea. Well, I do like the sound of that you're gonna do what I think everyone should do. Everyone that is eligible to vote for whatever they're eligible to vote for, they should. So I like the sound of that. Because there's a lot of places in the world where you're not able to do so. So where you can, where you're allowed to, you should. Not putting any weight to what anyone votes for. Just the fact that it just, yeah, if you can, you should. Hello, Needlecrafts. Good to see you today. How are you doing? How am I this beautiful? Thank you. That is very kind of you. I decided to use some yarn that's just been laying around to make a sunflower inspired blanket. You're knitting a tank top using Premier Cotton Sprout Speckles. I have never heard of that, but cotton I like. Speckles is fun. Sprout Speckles? What is that? I have no idea. A very interesting sound. It sounds like the yarn could be plenty of fun. I am making a blanket, and now I'm just doing the center of what will become something reminiscent of a sunflower. And the pattern isn't a sunflower per se, but it is flowery and it has petals. So first the center will be this brown, and then I'm gonna add this gold to the outside. I have plenty of the yarn. Would you like this 3-weight? If I would like the 3-weight cotton? Probably. I love cotton. And 3-weight isn't something that well, I do have some. I would say that the 8/8 is kind of 3-weight. But it definitely sounds like, just by the sound of it, that it would be a fun yarn to use. But Premier, that's the brand name, right? I don't know if I had any Premier. I have I Love This Cotton. I don't know what brand that is. Is it Yarnspiration, that cotton cake I have? But that's a cotton acrylic blend. I have had some more kitchen cotton. Is it Peaches and Cream or something similar to that? So I have some US cottons, but I don't think I have, yeah, I haven't had that. But Premier, do I have anything Premier? Mainstays, I have Lion Brand, Yarnspiration. Is Karen Yarnspiration? The Karen cakes? Yeah, Yarnspiration, Karen cake, Lion Brand Mandala, Yarnspiration. I have Red Heart Super Saver. And I know I have one Just Chenille, but I don't know where that one's from. Just Chenille yarn. I don't think I've got my hands on any Premier yarn at all. Oh, what's that? Pioneer Woman? Yeah, Pioneer Woman. That's a brand of its own, I think. Or is that just... No, I want to say that's a brand. Karen and Red Heart. Oh, Red Heart's also Yarnspiration. Just Chenille is Premier. Okay, so I have two little skeins of Just Chenille, and that's Premier. Okay. So I have them. At least something. Good to know. It's in the bottom of my basket with my chenille yarns because that's yarn I'm saving for a special something. I don't know what I'm gonna do with that. Let's see, is that the round I just did? Front post. Yes, that's the row I just did. What am I supposed to do on the next one? Hello, April. No, this is not my own design, but I did leave a link to the pattern I'm using in the description box. I got it from Ravelry, so there's a pattern down there. And then 1, 2. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, the pattern's really, really pretty. And it's repeated, so it will just continue to grow. But I will make this into a sunflower, so I have this brown for the center, and then I'm going to use this gold to make it more sunflowery looking later. But so far, really fun to do. Very much enjoying it. How big is it going to be? I don't know. It's gonna be big enough to cuddle in underneath. I have plenty of yarn and I don't think I'm gonna use it all, but the more I can use, the better. With five skeins, it's about, well, a little bit over 10, well, 1,000 yards of this 4-weight yarn, and then, well, 4 of these. I have a lot. I'm not gonna use all 5 of the brown for the center, even though I want it to be big, because sunflowers usually have kind of a big brown center. I'm not sure how big I'm gonna do it. We shall see. It's to be determined still. Yeah, I hope it's gonna be turning out beautiful. But the fact that it does state in the pattern that going over 76 rounds, I think it was, the math doesn't math, so you can't really go bigger from there. I guess I could always wing it somehow and try to do something if I want it to be even bigger. So I might have to do that. Why do I always get so amazed about how fast things work up? Why is the pattern saying that? It doesn't make sense. I get it makes sense in one way, but yeah, that makes more sense to me. Let's do that. Should I have done that there? No, it doesn't make a difference. I don't think. Maybe it looks slightly different. Yeah, I can do quite far, I'd say, with, repeats. The thing is, if the designer says that it's hard, you can't really do the math continued after row 70, whatever it was. I'm not sure exactly how that should be done. Hello, Jonathan. Probably, yeah. Because it is repeated. Is it repeated 3 times? And then it says not repeatable with the math that is in the pattern. So perhaps if I did some type of math, I could figure something out. It is a little bit odd that if you have a repeater that it's at some point stops to be repeatable. If you can repeat it like 3 times, it just, no, 2. or something. It just feels like it should be able to be repeated more than that. But I'll figure something out. I always do. Just like I'm kind of altering something here that makes more sense to me. And I know that I made mistakes already. I just left them there. Because it doesn't make a difference. The mistake was so early on, and I did back post single crochets instead of back post double crochets. No one's gonna know. At least I was consistent doing the same mistake on the whole row, because I just didn't read the pattern. Or I was supposed to, well, there was some single crochets on that row and I just read it too fast. It happens. So I do leave mistakes. In this case, it was just frogging back. Well, I was here and I just frogged that back to redo that. Nothing big. You've only worked on one repeater and you haven't finished it yet, so you're not sure how it's going to work out yet. I've done quite a few different repeaters. I do like to do blankets that is repetitive like that, because then I can just keep going until I run out of yarn, or until it's as big as I wanted to. Most often it is me running out of yarn, because I like to do that. I like to work until the yarn decides how big it's going to turn out. So square blankets starting in the center is my go-to. Or things starting in the center overall. I think that's, this one starts in the center, goes out. Ponchos, the same, working from the top down, just working until you run out of yarn. My favorite type of project. Trying to maximize the yarn usage. Sometimes I need to get more yarn, and that's okay. Running out of yarn is never fun, and also having too much leftovers is also not fun, because sometimes you have leftovers, just not a lot of it, so you don't really know what to do. Most of the time, since I'm using the thinner cottons, I can just add it to my pile of scrap yarn for the scrap basket. But not all of the yarn, right? Scrap basket just has 1 and 2 weights. I think I've had some thinner yarns, but that's mainly what is used for the scrap basket. Cotton and cotton acrylic blends. But other leftovers, I don't really know what to do with, because I don't have that many other leftover scraps. Like this 4 weight, I have no idea what I'm gonna do with the leftovers. So I would like to use a lot of this. You're currently doing an infinity scarf for your daughter, a repeater experiment. That's fun. Trying to find a pattern you like that can work quickly for a baby blanket for a friend. Do you like detailed patterns? Working quickly? Or are we talking thicker yarn? Or what's your preferences on that? Because I can show you some baby blankets that I've done, but they may not be the fastest. The patterns are really well written, and it's kind of like this one, very intricate. It can be fast if you're used to working with thinner yarns and the repetition, you know, when you get a hang of reading a pattern. It's usually well, when you get a hang of how a designer writes the pattern, it does work up faster. You've picked a beautiful crushed velvet, so a thick yarn. Okay, maybe not the type of yarn that would be good for the baby blankets, but I'm just gonna get it so you get to see it. Or them, I should say, because I have two baby blankets with, well, similar intricacy as this one. This is the smaller one, made out of one cake of yarn. So this one is just one cake where I have taken the inside and going out, but I've taken the outside color to make the details, because there's two like detail rows. But I really love to work with these thinner yarns. This is, I don't know, 2/8-ish twister from Hobie. And then I've done one where I've used two cakes, working the first cake from the inside out, from the inside to the outside. And then the next one, I took the outside and worked it in to get the reverse ombre. Both of these are hooked on sunshine patterns, and I do really, really love these patterns. I've done multiple of the patterns that she has made, and some of them multiple times. Hello, hello, Crafty, how are you doing? Hope you're doing good. I'm working on a blanket. Not the same as these ones, but similar. Just talking about some inspiration for baby blankets. But yeah, it does take a little while. I want to say like a cake like that. It doesn't take that long if I don't do a lot of other things. But I want to say I can make a blanket in a week without a problem. If it's one or two cakes, depends. But yeah, definitely a week. I can make a baby blanket like that. But I usually jump in between my projects, so I don't really time them unless I have a deadline or, well, if I get an order, of course, I'm going to prioritize that and just make it faster than anything else. They are really fun to do. Like yesterday, we went back to the bunny that was just left in pieces on the shelf for months with a half finished ear. Yeah, it's just put to the side again. We did make the body and attach the arms, but I had already done the arms and the legs, and well, 1.5 ear. So still a tail and a head and assembly, but it's been months in the making for that one. And it's probably gonna be not so high priority either. It was nice to do that on stream though. It's simple enough and it's easy for you guys to see what I'm doing. Or fairly easy at least. Colorful yarn. And a thicker yarn also is a bit easier to see than when I'm doing small things like the mini ducks. Probably not the easiest thing to see what I'm doing. Hello Janice, how are you doing today? Good to see you. And I did for convenience for everyone, pin the link to the other live stream. I do have 2 streams going at the same time, one in vertical mode and one in horizontal mode. In case you want a different view, you can go over to the other one. It feels like we have a lot of chat on the... Well, is it both as chatty on both sides? Maybe. Mostly chat on the vertical at the moment, I think. But if there's anyone in the chat that you don't see, but you hear me addressing, they're in the other chat. So I did pin the link to the other chat or the other stream compared to whatever you're in. So you can just jump in between or, well, choose the view you prefer or leave a thumbs up on both sides. It took you forever to work on and finish a crocheted lobster. You kept putting it down for months. Kind of like what I've done to Godzilla then. But he is finished. He is finished. It took me forever to work on this. About a year. But in actual crochet time, 45 hours. Almost 46 hours. And I did something by accident yesterday. I haven't showed the face of this one, or I have showed the face but not the eyes. But I accidentally showed the eyes yesterday. So it slipped. But I put that live to members only because I can, okay? So yeah, if you want to see the face, it's for members. Or you just have to wait until I actually do a face reveal. If you were here, you were here. Otherwise, yeah. It happened. It was my own mistake, but I can live with that. $18 long. That's a long thing. This is 50 centimeters from head to tail. So he's quite big. There we go. Another row done. And what am I supposed to do? That's the row I just did. Okay, so about the same size. Oh, okay. Back post, front post. And again, it says that it's going to be some curling at the end of this row. There was no curling at the end of last time they said it was going to be some curling, so I'm not sure I can trust that. Where is the space? There. Did you guys get some morning coffee yet? I hope you did. Or maybe not time for that yet. Still in bed, being all snuggly, perhaps? Or maybe that's just a me thing, that I can lay around in bed for an hour or so before I get up and just watch live streams or something until I feel like it's time to get out of bed. You'd love to make some amigurumis. I have a collection of amigurumis, very different ones. Hello, Caps. No, I didn't finish the bunny. We'd left it at just finishing the body and attaching the arms. But we need to make a head, a tail, and a symbol. But that's for another day. I just decided this morning to start a blanket. So this is what I started this morning, and now I'm gonna hang out and just continue on this blanket. Did I get the last one? I did. Hello, Barbara. Good morning. You have your morning coffee. Awesome, Crafty. I also have coffee, so it's all good. And yeah, for those just popping in, I did link to the other live stream up at the top today. I do have a vertical and a horizontal live stream going. If you prefer to hang out on the vertical, then you can do that, or you can hang out in the horizontal. But if there's people in the chat that I'm addressing and you don't see them, they're just on the other side. So you can switch around. Also, you get different views. On the horizontal, you get a lot more of my bench and me, my face also, in case you haven't seen my face. It's on the horizontal. On the vertical is just my hands working. Hello, Jackie. Thank you for stopping by and leaving a thumbs up. I appreciate that. Hope you're going to have a great day. Barely 5 a.m. You have to go you have to go to sleep? You haven't slept yet. That is not fun. I know the feeling. Did I do what I'm supposed to do? I think so. Makisha? Hello, hello. Welcome in. I think I said your name right. I'm sorry if I didn't. You're hoping to fall asleep soon at 7:15 a.m. and you're still awake? Wow. Go to bed, Jackie. Well, I know how it is to be a night owl. Not as much anymore as it has been in the past, but there's probably a few out there that remembers me being up really, really late my time, because it started to become late for a lot of you guys, and I was still there. And well, I'm in Sweden, and I was hanging out with the night owls in the US. and not going to bed when I should have. But these days, there's, you know, it happens that I do a early live stream and I catch all of the night owls, but I am up very early over here instead. You're from NC, is that New York City? North Carolina? I'm not sure. North Carolina would make more sense than New York City, but because New York you'd say NY, right? I don't know. Sending kids off and then bed, that is a good plan. I agree. Oh, you remember? The sleep deprivation buddies? North Carolina. Yeah, okay. So I think I was right on my assumption. I'm in Sweden, so I don't really know. I don't get all of the abbreviations. I'm getting better at it though. Very, very late night. Yeah, these days I am a little bit more of a responsible person, I guess, with trying to take care of myself and my sleeping routines, even though I fail miserably a lot of times. You were a part of that as well? Yes, you were. You were. Thank you, Jackie. No more late nights for the most part. Yeah, sometimes you just need to be an adult and do all the adulting stuff, even though it's boring. Old nurse. "6:30 p.m. to 7:30 a.m. You're all messed up. Yeah, I can definitely see that working night shifts, yeah, it messes you up. Royal MB? Roy Almby, maybe. Welcome. Do I teach patterns? Not really. I have done some stuff like basic beginner tutorials in the past. I have made a sunflower coaster tutorial. That seems to be getting some attention now and then still. But I haven't done a lot of videos or tutorials and things and such. So I have a couple of patterns of my own, but there's plenty of things I could make patterns out of. I've made a lot of things. I just haven't taken the time to actually write the patterns down, which I should, but it takes away from my crochet time and hanging out with you. Maybe at some point I'll focus more on stuff like that, but I've been really bad at it for some time. You want to have some help with granny squares? Is there anything in particular that you feel like you want help with? Because I have a granny square tutorial. I'm not sure if I would agree to the tutorial today, but I have made one that has a few tips and tricks in it. I have a playlist named something basics. And in that basic playlist, you can find that one. Maybe it's helpful. I should probably update it, but there is that one, so you could always check that out. Thank you for hanging out, David. Have a great time with your friend. Is Maine close to, or is Maine also in North Carolina? It's up by Canada. But on this, yeah, I don't know. Making a square, not a circle. You'll search. Well, hopefully it could be helpful. If not, I can definitely try to do something at some point, or maybe I could do a live stream where I just try and make a square. Or try, I can definitely make a square. There's different ways to make squares as well. The northern east tip. Wow, there's a lot of people here now. Where did everyone come from? Hello, hello. All the new peeps. Feel free to leave a thumbs up. I would appreciate that. And also for those that is on the vertical stream, which most of you are on the vertical, there is a pinned comment to a horizontal version of the same stream where you get to see more of what I'm doing, but also my face if you're curious to what I look like. But you could also leave a thumbs up on both sides if you feel like it, if you feel generous. You live in probably the only state that gets no super crazy natural disaster aside from fires. More similar to here then. We're waking up. Yeah, it definitely feels like people are waking up. I had actually not seen that many people in here in months that we just had. We had a little peak here with people. It was more than I've seen in months. So, happily surprised. Because it's still early. But it is, 1:23 p.m., so there might be some late lunchers in Europe that is spending a little bit of their lunch break just checking out things, scrolling shorts, and ending up on live streams because, well, there's the vertical live streams do appear when you're scrolling the short feed. So there's definitely a good way to find new people. There's plenty of you guys that is new to me, that has just come in the last few days. It's awesome. Really fun. Really, really fun. Yeah, that's how you found me. And it's also the way YouTube seems to be preferring to share stuff out these days. Yeah, we don't get natural disasters in Sweden either, really. There's some fires, forest fires now and then during the summers. They're usually not really big. We had a really big one a few years ago, but wasn't too big compared to other places. We've had a couple of storms that has been bad, but there's just every few years or so uprooting trees, maybe a roof or two that blows off, but it's not tornado warnings. We don't even have tornado warning systems, or we have a warning system, but that is just for anything really. It could be um, more major things, like, well, big fires, of course, could be something that is being warned about, but it's more. There was one the other day in a city down south of Sweden. They did have an alert because there was an explosion in a big electrical switch place. I don't know what to call it, but it's ställverk. What could that be? Like a transforming station, like transforming from like high voltage to lower voltage to get it out to the households type of place. And there was an explosion and there was like 23,000 households without electricity. So there was a warning for that because it was, affecting a lot of people, a big power outage. Our world's take on the nut president. No debates, American. Just wondering on the international community. Well, I don't like to do politics, but I do agree on the statement that he is a nut, and the world is kind of scared of not knowing what he may or may not do. He is very not explosive, but he's a bit scary because no one really knows what to expect. It's a little, unstable. But I think that's, you're probably noticing that too. Yeah. You found me a couple of years ago during late night shenanigans. That is definitely something that I've been doing, late night shenanigans. You can come to Sweden just to learn a granny square. Sis needs nature of a vacation. Well, I'd happily help you. And anyone, if you come to Sweden and you're in my neighborhood, for sure we can meet up. Snow is evil. You say that as a natural born desert dweller. You like your dry heat. You can get tornadoes, but it's very rare. Other than that, it's wind and fire, and you get a lot of that. We have more snow up north. It's not a lot of snow where I live. I really have been getting less and less snow the last few years, and I want more snow because it's very dark and gray without the snow. It's very depressing because it is just a lot of darkness here. That's just how it is. Up north, the sun doesn't even rise in the winter, and in the summer the sun don't set, so it's 24/7 sun in the summers. But when it's just dark and we have like an hour or 3 of sunlight, you need the snow to brighten stuff up. Best time to visit? I guess it depends on what type of weather you like. Northern lights, well, for best chance of seeing northern lights is in the fall and the spring. Sometimes, you get it in the winter as well. In the summer, it's too bright. When the sun doesn't set, you don't see any northern lights because, well, it needs to be kind of dark to be able to see it. So in that case, best bet for northern lights, spring or fall. If you like cold, then, more winter-esque time, but yeah. This time of year, there's no northern lights where I'm at because it's just, now it's too bright. You understand why old folks move from here in the winters. It's not easy to manage the snow the older you get. I get that. Something that is very popular here, with old people or when you retire. Going outside, going to Spain, the Canary Islands, Thailand, in the winter. There's a lot of people that, gets a winter house in the sun. Is very common. And I think people in the UK also have a thing for that, because there's a lot of British tourists, especially Spain and like Canary Islands. They seem to like to gravitate to the sun in the winter as well. Your great grandmother was from Sweden? Also a very common thing. There's a lot of Swedes over the years that has migrated to the US. There's towns in the US that has, the same names as the towns over here. And there's places that has Swedish traditions. I know that there's something, is it LA that has some type of midsummer celebration? Yeah, I hear stuff like that from time to time. Okay, now I have a little bit of curling. Just like it said. More than last time it said that it might be curling. Okay. Get in there. I am also very, very Swedish, because, well, I am born and raised in Sweden. I have only left Sweden for vacations, and only once outside of Europe, and that was 1 week in Europe, or in Egypt, because I do get the question of where I'm from, because, well, I don't have an accent, or, well, the lack of accent is making people wonder where I'm from. Summer solstice. That is soon, isn't it? We celebrate midsummer, but summer solstice, not sure. About, the winter. The sun, isn't that when the sun is tallest up in the sky? The day with the longest sun hours, which up north is half the summer. You don't encourage anyone to move to New Mexico? Oh, for political reasons. My mom spent, I want to say, a year in New Mexico when she was young. Well, all my grandma and my grandpa and my uncles and my mom spent, I want to say, about a year in New Mexico when my mom was young. I think mom was she must have been a teen. My grandpa was a professor at a university, and he took, I guess, a year or like semester or something where he was invited to teach at a university over there. So they lived there for a while. About a year. Kind of cool. I've seen a lot of pictures from that. There's a slight accent, enough to give Swedish, possibly Norwegian. Interesting. Not everyone is able to pick up on that. I hear a lot of different guesses. I've heard guesses of anything from Canada, Pennsylvania. I don't even remember, but it's always fun to hear people's guesses. And I've heard something about, the politician part of everything, that there's crazy stuff going on. Is it in all California, or is it like LA, or what's the deal? Stuff is going out of control. Hope that sorts itself out, like, ASAP. Waste money on tickets, then get turned around. Oh yeah, I've heard a lot of things. It's also like if you have a visa, a pre-approved visa, that doesn't necessarily mean you're actually going to get approved to enter the US. That makes me a little bit, if you get a visa, you should be pre-approved, but uh, where was I on the pattern? That's the row I just did, I think. 3 stitches, yes. Okay, so wait. There we go. I hope stuff calms down like yesterday. Can't even imagine all of the stuff going on. Like it wasn't enough already. Oh, don't you worry. Me trying to focus on my pattern as well as talking to chat, it happens. I usually don't do this much of pattern reading when I hang out here. Like I usually go for easier stuff, but it's like it's easy enough. I just need to somewhat try and, figure out what I'm going to do, because this is pretty much the part I need to repeat. I need to repeat from this, like a valley over a peak, because then we get a valley and over a peak again. So it's not that much to really figure out. Once I have made it once, it all makes sense. And then I can just carry on. I am kind of sad that you guys are losing a lot of tourists though, because there's a lot of people just not wanting to go there, which affects jobs. A lot of things is affecting jobs, but that isn't helping. Skip one and then, okay, let's see if this works out. One. It's hard for you to follow chat just cutting paper. You don't know how I can read a pattern while chatting. Well, I guess it's something I've kind of managed to learn. Then again, this is pretty easy, this pattern so far. But I can also crochet with not looking at what I'm doing, at least when I'm doing granny stitch, like some of you might know. And if you don't know, there's a short that I created, is it a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, that my dentist recorded for me. Her point of view with me at the dentist, she's working on what she needs to do, and I crochet because I can do that while, not looking. So I was crocheting with my eyes closed, and she was busy drilling around. Hello, Trassel. How are you doing today? Is rainy where you're at? It's not raining here. I have crocheted pretty much daily for 6 years. I did learn to crochet in school, just basics, and I did some crocheting when I was younger, just from now and then, but nothing really, it was all just basics. And about 6 years ago, I picked up a crochet hook. I have, with the help of YouTube, cross-referencing from like Pinterest and patterns, learned to read patterns and diagrams, different type of stitches, and just, so pretty much like I did know the basics, but I have taught myself more or less, because what I learned in school, long forgotten. But I have crocheted pretty much daily for 6 years. There has been a few days where I haven't been able to crochet. Like, I didn't bring any yarn when I was in the hospital giving birth. So there was about 2 weeks almost with no crocheting. but I did crochet while breastfeeding. And yeah, I like to crochet. What can I say? Skip one and crochet. No, I'm just gonna do, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Just because you live in New Mexico, you don't know Spanish. I don't think that's a requirement though. Or like, do you have it in school? Some places have multiple, oh wait, no. Multiple languages in school. Like here we have Swedish from, well, from the start. And then we get to learn English from second grade. And in, is it fourth or fifth grade, we're adding a third language, which is a choice from German, Spanish, French. Some just have extra English. Some places you can even have Latin, which can be very useful if you're planning, far ahead for like med school. Latin is very useful if you're planning to become a doctor because of all the medical terms of body parts and such. You also don't eat chili? You don't like spicy stuff? Latin help you kind of figure out French? By comparing Latin and Spanish, you studied Spanish in school and sort of reverse engineering it to something you could understand? Yeah, or that. Latin, I want to say, like, probably Italian is closer, but there's definitely some similarities with French as well. Not, definitely different languages, but there's similarities. You have Spanish as an option. Oh, you failed it. Well, some people just don't love languages, and some really do. I definitely like spicier food from time to time, but not every day. You liked languages before? Burnouts are no fun. Sounds like you really had high expectations on yourself. That tends to happen if you do that. Try to like overdo things and then just burn out. Spanish in school. Passed with honors, but you never used it after. And now you forgot it. Yeah, that also kind of happens. you have a lot more French speakers. Well, you're closer to Canada, right? And Canada has a lot of French speaking people. So that would make sense that there's more French being spoken. Real chili or northern version? I can definitely assume that chilies, you know, Mexican proper chilies, probably a bit more spicy than what I'm used to. I do like spicy stuff, so I am definitely not afraid to put seasonings in my food, but cooking for the kids, you know, I have to tone it down. So, more kid-friendly food. You're growing chilies in your own garden? That is nice. When you ask for chili in Pennsylvania, you get jalapenos, and that's not the same thing. I do like, um, we have very much jalapenos here. With, you know, it's pretty standard being served with like kebabs here. I do like that. But yeah, the jalapenos with the that we have with the kebab, they're kind of like pickled, or like at least, yeah, it's kind of pickled. They're also very very nice, so doesn't really matter. But yeah, I think they lose a little bit of the heat in that way. Stuffed poblanos. What was the ones I was um mm-mm-mm. What's the name of those? I had some barbecued, kind of small green, smallish green, a little spicier than bell peppers. Can I figure out what they're called? I don't know. Let's. Pimentos de padrón. Padron-ish, maybe? Could that be something that sounds familiar? They are not spicy, but they're good. Or maybe you'd be more, you know, calling it more of a pepper than a chili, perhaps. They are good though. Let's see. What do I get here? So, I will soon have company by my brother. And later today, I will be hanging out over at Greenland Quilter, Katie's. I need to remember to share the link to that panel stream, because if you guys want to come and hang out there with me and Crafty Witch 232 Andy, well, Katie of course, and Shonda. You know, it would be awesome to see some of you there as well. But that's like late tonight for me. It's 10:30 p.m. my time, and it's now 1:51 p.m. So plenty of hours until now, or between now and then. But I should definitely share that link so you guys know where to find me. I think last time we were hanging out for like 4 hours or something over there, so. Okay. Just some questions about buses. To me, it's all hot. It's good to clear out your sinuses with some hot chili though, so that could be good. When you have a cold, definitely a good time for spicy foods if it makes your nose a bit runny. Then you don't need to use a lot of sprays. Dried Thai peppers you use in dishes when you want to clear your sinuses. Oh, and not just your face. Oh, I get it. I get it now that it gets a lot of cleaning out. For better and worse. Maybe I could do that. And you get, because it feels like it got a little darker outside. A little bit more cloudy. It is brown, but it kind of looks gray. It's my light. But not much left of this little skein over here. I should probably wrap things up soon, so. Not sure. Well, maybe I can start the next row. Still a little bit to go. But it has definitely grown. I don't remember how far I've gotten when I started, but you do definitely see the petal shape better over here now. Like there's these first small petals, and then you get like this larger petal shape, and then it's just going to continue to become more and more of these petals. And at some point I'm going to switch from this brown, which looks gray, into this gold, mustardy yellow gold color to make a big sunflower. It is kind of a, it's not like a bright brown, so I totally get why it more looks like gray in camera. But I think, yeah, it's my lighting. I think maybe a little bit, yeah, I don't know. Thank you. So what is everyone's plan now when I disappear out of here? What are you gonna do today? Do you have any fun plans? Some maybe should try to sleep. Possibly. Breakfast time. What's for breakfast, Suzanne? Get your car off to the mechanics. Sounds like a good plan. And a doctor's appointment. A busy day. Eggs for breakfast. You gets to keep them. I don't want some. That makes sense. Or oatmeal. Well, that is a fast thing to do. Theoretically, hubby and I have to work weather dependent. You're dragging leaving the house or dreading to leave the house. Well, I hope that you gets out in time to do all the things you need to do. Leaving the house is not so much fun, so I totally get it. It's rainy there. It actually looks more cloudy and dark outside now. They did say that there was a possibility of rain today, but it didn't look like that this morning. But you never know. Things can change in a heartbeat when it comes to the weather. Avocado toast for breakfast? Oh, that I could have. Yes, that sounds good. I don't remember when I had a good avocado last time. It is quite far for avocados to travel here, so they're usually not that good. Hello, hello. Yours to hold. You're back. Figure out what type of icing you want to make for your boyfriend's birthday cupcakes And if you want to add ham to the homemade mac and cheese you're gonna make for his birthday lunch. Well, that sounds fun. Is it birthday lunch today? Pop-Tarts for breakfast? You're still eating like a teenager. On Thursday. Thursday is birthday celebrations. That's fun. Hope you're gonna figure out if, well, the things you were wanting to figure out. Adding ham to the mac and cheese and whatnot. Planning ahead. Oh, you're gonna take it to work and surprise him. That is nice of you. Very nice. I think Auto Cucumber got you, Crafty. You miss postcards? I'm guessing Pop-Tarts. But I think you might have gone Auto Cucumbered. Autocorrect at its finest. Yeah, that's where we're leaving this today, everyone. Buttercream icing last year. Buttercream is nice. S'mores are your favorite? Yeah, so this is what the blanket is looking like so far. Pop-Tarts. It's been awesome as always. I love to hang out, you guys. It's always fun. Oh, right. I have to stay for another minute and a half because then I've been here for 2 hours. So a few more stitches while I try to say bye, because we all know I can't say bye because I always keep rambling. That's just how I do it. That's just me. So I hope everyone's going to have a great day, whatever you're going to be doing. And I'm going to crochet away for a little bit just while rambling. Hello, Athel. Sunflower in bloom. Where is Joshy? I have no idea where Joshy's at. But I am working on a big sunflower blanket. S'mores pie for your birthday in 2 weeks. Oh, your birthday is in 2 weeks. Happy birthday, very early happy birthday. Hopefully I get to say happy birthday to you closer to your actual birthday. Dairy Queen ice cream. I don't think I've even seen pictures of a Dairy Queen ice cream. Dairy Queen ice cream. We don't have that here. But yeah. So, I will be over at Katie's, and yeah, I need to share the link for that so you can come and hang out over there tonight with me and Andy and Katie and Shonda. There's a big possibility that I'll be here tomorrow because I have no plans for tomorrow. So see you guys tomorrow. Is that what we're doing? Yes, I think that's actually what we're doing because I have no plans for tomorrow and I don't think I'm gonna do any other thing than just, yeah, same time tomorrow, and most likely for a lot longer because I can. Does that sound like a good plan? Yeah, that's what we're doing. And then you can yell at me later if I fail at doing that, but definitely gonna try and do my best. Yeah, the pattern for this one is in the description box if anyone wants to check that out. It's a Ravelry pattern. It wasn't that expensive, so. Same cacti channel sounds good to you. Cacti hasn't been out today though. Maybe tomorrow. Yesterday we measured the cacti. Good morning, Gulf Coast Granny. I'm just about to pop out of here, but same time tomorrow. That's yeah, that's what we're gonna do. So I love hanging out. See you guys tomorrow. Someone stop me from rambling, please, pretty please. Love you all. Bye bye.